One being praised by the moon heavenly pen and given the name of the yin-yang sacred lord, all the protectors felt a chill in their hearts. At the same time, they did not dare to underestimate it. All of their attention was placed on the Skyjade spiritual transformation pill, as they carefully sensed the aura contained within it. A moment later, Yang Che was the first to open his eyes wide. An extremely obscure killing intent flashed across his eyes. From this medicine pill, he could indeed sense an aura similar to Sacred Lord Yin-Yang. Although his heart was overflowing with killing intent, he didn't show it on his face. Yang Che gently cupped his hands and said with a sigh, "Sir's eyes are like a torch." Although this medicine pill is only at the 8th star or 2nd grade, its effect is immeasurable to an ordinary heavenly sovereign. In my opinion, this medicine pill should be called first. The expressions of the other few people were also strange. The others did not know the true influence of Sacred Lord Yin-Yang. They were clearly aware that Yin-Yang was one of the essence of the laws of the world. They had spent their entire lives trying to grasp the essence of the world and step into its profoundness. Back then, the Yin-Yang Sacred Lord had a non-mystical body. It was a miracle that he could grasp the mysteries of the world. His understanding and comprehension of yin and yang had been unparalleled since the ancient times. The origin chi of the former was also a type of yin and yang fusion. This kind of origin chi was used against ordinary heavenly sovereign-level warriors. It was enough to allow them to comprehend the laws of heaven even faster. After stepping into the heavenly sovereign, the effect of ordinary physiques on one's strength would be minimal. Apart from the heaven-defying physique of the tyrannical heavenly king body, the latter would be able to display its true strength after stepping into the heavenly sovereign. This also meant that the peerless geniuses who had been praised by many people were. After breaking through to the heavenly sovereign, most of them were considered ordinary people. Therefore, the yin-yang origin chi had brought them an improvement. It was just too great. The Guardians were naturally well aware of this. Although the other two medicine pills had virtually reached the tier of a tier 8 3-star, in terms of effect, the Skyjade spiritual transformation pill in front of them undoubtedly possessed a great advantage. Who refined these origin chis? They actually possess yin-yang origin chi. Yang Che revealed a look of sudden enlightenment and looked at Xiao Yan and the others with a smile. Under everyone's gaze, Xiao Yan rubbed his nose and had no choice but to step forward. He did not expect that the Skyjade spiritual transformation pill would gain the favorable impression of the Guardians because of this. Since no one has any objections, how about giving the first name of this pill gathering to this kid? Without waiting for the others to speak, an indescribable light flashed across the moon heavenly pen's eyes. Without looking at the ugly expressions of the others, it looked at the protectors and said with a smile, "That's the way it should be." Yang Che smiled and nodded. He took the Skyjade spiritual transformation pill from the moon heavenly pen's hand and glanced at Xiao Yan. After which, he said in a clear voice, "Sir has made the decision personally. The few of us have also agreed." Then, the top name of the pill competition this time around. "Sir, please wait." Just as he was about to say Xiao Yan's name, the old man with a red beard suddenly spoke in a gloomy voice. Under everyone's gaze, he stepped forward bravely and stared fixedly at the Skyjade spirit form pill in Yang Che's hand. Everyone present is a famous figure in the Starfield pill world with a surname. Skyjade spirit form pill is also known. In terms of grade, it's merely a grade 8 2-star. How can it possibly be above the two of us? Furthermore, an alchemist whose soul has yet to reach the ancient stage. How can he concoct the 8th grade medicine pill? Pausing for a moment, the old man took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "Lord, please do not be blinded." As soon as the words left his mouth, Xiao Yan immediately laughed out of extreme anger. This old thing's meaning, was he trying to deceive himself? Are you trying to say that he is playing tricks in front of all of us? Yang Che grinned and played with the Skyjade spiritual transformation pill. I didn't say that. However, a tier 8 medicine pill can only be refined by an ancient stage's soul. This is the truth. An illusionary soul is absolutely impossible. Perhaps, it is the help of an expert. With the moon heavenly pen present, Yang Che wouldn't dare to attack him directly. The old man gritted his teeth and said, when Xiao Yan was fighting with the middle-aged man in the cloud brocade robe, he had used a thick white flame. Clearly, it was the Quietus Monarch burning flame. This also meant, Ji Wuchuan had died in his hands. The latter was a genuine heavenly sovereign. Furthermore, with the monarch flame in his hands, there was no need to talk about Xiao Yan. Even among all the competitors present, there were very few who could defeat him. The reason he was defeated by Xiao Yan was probably because he had borrowed the strength of others. However, he didn't intend to say those words, which caused Yang Che's smile to freeze. Although he immediately returned to normal, he was even more convinced that the Star Sky tablet was in Xiao Yan's possession. Looking at the old woman beside him, Yang Che pursed his lips. Finally, he smiled and said, "Everything is changing. Once, everything under the heavenly sovereign. The saying that everything is dust has now been broken. I have also heard about how a monarch cultivation killed a heavenly sovereign and refined a tier 8 medicine pill with an illusionary soul. What was so special about it? If it was classified by the tier of the medicinal pill, there's no such thing as a miracle in this world. Moreover, this was discussed by the few of us together. Who wouldn't accept it?" The aura gradually surged, causing the surrounding sea of clouds to submit. It was as if the heavens were crushing down. Everyone's expressions changed, and they all kept silent like cicadas in winter, not daring to make a sound. This is not a child's play. Whether the real medicine pill is good or bad needs to be considered in a comprehensive manner. The moon heavenly pen spoke at this moment. Its tone was calm, and it easily dispersed Yang Che's aura suppression. "Bring the three of them here. I will personally tell them some things. The rest of them who are able to come here are also important figures of the star domain pill realm. There are many things that need not be concealed." After glancing at Yang Che, the moon heavenly pen's figure gradually disappeared, turning into a wisp of starlight and disappearing into the void. Yang Che's expression changed slightly, and then he felt relieved. The heavens were protected by the moon heavenly pen. This was not the place to attack. Although some things had exceeded his expectations, they were still within his control. "Shen Luo, bring the masters of these 3 medicine pills to meet Lord Moon Heavenly Pen. As for the other people, I will tell them," Yang Che said with an expressionless face. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and his eyes were cold. "You 3, come with me." A silver-armored man stepped forward and waved his hand. A river of stars swept out, wrapping around Xiao Yan and the other 2. Then, he took a big step forward and flew towards the void. As they watched Xiao Yan and the others leave, all of them revealed envious gazes. To be able to personally come into contact with the moon heavenly pen. This would bring unimaginable benefits to their future journey. Yi Feng was mixed in with the crowd. His expression was complicated, but in the end, it turned into a long sigh. The old man who had gone to the heavenly medicine sect with Yi Feng had a smile on his face, as if he had predicted something. After Xiao Yan left, he mumbled to himself, "A tree that stands out from the forest will be destroyed by the wind. He, little thing, we will meet sooner or later." After the few of them left, Yang Che was silent for a long time. He turned to the others and swept his cold gaze across them. He said coldly in a condescending manner, "All of you are capable people and the ones with the greatest influence in the star field. There are some things that I have to say here. Gu Wu. No, it's another name. Go with the flow. The 9 disciples of the Soul Demon have begun their rebirth. Just a few days ago, another 9 disciples were revived in Spirit Domain. 1 inch the 9 disciples who were reborn in Spirit Domain. What's their name?" Under the starry sky, the starry river behind Shen Luo was rolling and rolling, continuously extending into an unknown space. The bright starlight turned into a starship, carrying Xiao Yan and the others forward. After listening to Shen Luo's words regarding the Soul Demon, while the other 2 were still in shock, Xiao Yan spoke in a deep voice. Apart from Di Kun who was confronting the ancient sovereign in Middle Domain, the rest of the 9 disciples should be in Battle Domain. Since when did a 9th disciple appear in this unknown Spirit Domain? "Dacha," Shen Luo said with a gentle expression. "Dacha," Xiao Yan silently repeated. Up until now, the Soul Demon's 9 disciples were the Yuv Mu who had appeared in Star Moon Island. Tai Chi, who had been rescued in the star-severing mountain range, had been revived in the Battle Domain. Kai, who had been resurrected from the Chongming Hall's secret realm in the Mingan Divine Domain, and Di Kun of the Middle Domain. Adding this, 6 out of 9 people had appeared. An unknown war would probably be even more terrifying. Regarding Shen Luo, he had an impression of him. Back when he had just recovered the Star Sky tablet in Star-Severing Mountain Range, he had met the former during the process of leaving. If it was not for the Star Sky Tablet secretly attacking him, all of his secrets would have been exposed in front of Shen Luo. 9 Disciples of the Soul Demon. Could it be that the great world is going to return to the chaotic era from 1,000,000 years ago? 9 Disciples of the Soul Demon. Could it be that the great world is going to return to the chaotic era from 1,000,000 years ago? After a long time, the old man with a red beard seemed to have woken up from a dream. He looked at Shen Luo in horror. The old man called him the Red Dragon's spiritual master. He was a person who had a great reputation in the southern star region. With his status, he naturally knew about the Soul Demon. When he heard about it today, he couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. He. Do you think that the current great world can be compared to 1,000,000 years ago? Shen Luo sneered. The words he said caused the hearts of Xiao Yan and the other two to sink. 1,000,000 years ago, all the heroes rose together. Countless heroes who were praised by the future generations, Flame Lord, Xiao Tianqing, Old Man Xing Luo, and so on and so forth. These mighty figures didn't hesitate to die in order to suppress the Soul Demon's ambition. And now, all the saints had withered away. Some of the most powerful saints in the world had also stepped in tens of thousands of years ago. If the new blood could not be replenished, how could they deal with the chaos of the Soul Demon? At that time, the Nether Domain attacked. Now, the Soul Demon is in a difficult situation. The ancient sovereign of the Middle Domain has been reborn, and he is in charge of the ancient sovereign weapon. It's not impossible for him to fight the Soul Demon. The yellow-robed elder who came with Xiao Yan spoke in a low voice. The Yuan Ling Yang return pill was created by him. Do you all know the purpose of the pill competition being held in the Star Domain? Stars were circling around Shen Luo's body. He raised his hand and lifted his leg. It was as if he was in control of everything. The three of them shook their heads, indicating that they did not know what was going on. Looking at Shen Luo's expression, they knew that he was about to speak with confidence. If they randomly spoke at this moment, it would only draw the displeasure of the latter. The three of them were all people with deep thoughts. Naturally, they would not snatch Shen Luo's limelight at this moment. The previous Star Domain pill competition was only carried out in Star Moon Island. Our Guardian Association will give generous rewards to encourage the development of the Star Domain pill realm. There are many reasons for sending all the alchemists who entered the third round to the heavens. The most important reason is because of the Soul Demon. Shen Luo's expression turned solemn. It was Yang Che who wanted to confirm whether the Moon Heavenly Pen approved of him or not. However, the 9 disciples of the Soul Demon also occupied a large portion of it. Those who can enter the third round are all alchemists with outstanding strength in the star field. In the future, when the Soul Demon wreaks havoc, all of you will be the backbone of the army. You all have to take care of yourselves. After saying that, Shen Luo let out a cold laugh. Also, you just said that the Soul Demon is difficult to handle alone. They are a huge army by themselves. If there are sufficient conditions, they can form an army of dead spirits that can't be ignored in an instant. The 9 disciples are even able to control an existence at the saint level. This kind of strength, even if there was only one of them, he would be able to face people from a region head-on. Not to mention the fact that the 9 disciples are all here at the same time. Whoosh! After listening to Shen Luo's analysis, the 3 of them were shocked. Xiao Yan shook his head silently. It was just as Shen Luo had said. 1,000,000 years had passed. Apart from the protectors who had participated in the Great War back then, almost everyone else had forgotten about the scariness of the Soul Demon. It's not just the Star Domain. The other few domains have also informed the top experts of each domain in different ways. The rebirth of the Soul Demon has been known by the protectors of the various domains. The reason why they can't announce it to the public is because they are worried that it will cause panic in the major worlds. Shen Luo paused for a moment and said in a deep voice, for example, the star fields. If everyone knew about this, the consequences would be. Have you thought about it? All kinds of transcendent powers will definitely expand their strength at all costs. For those small families and small powers, without waiting for the Soul Demon to attack, they will die in the hands of their own kind. Many forces would also go all out and start a great war. At that time, the star field would surely be thrown into chaos. Even if the 10 of us have the power to reach the heavens in the vast star field, how can you defend it? I thought that with the fall of the Domain Lord, the 10 Guardians would fight for the position of the Domain Lord at all costs. I didn't expect that they would also have the intention to cherish the lives of the people in this star field. Xiao Yan suppressed his laughter and said softly. From the star sky tablet, he knew the faces of these guardians. Now that he heard this, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The other two's expressions changed. They looked at Xiao Yan. It was disrespectful to say such words here. If Shen Luo was provoked, they could easily kill him. It's better for ordinary people to not hear about the matters of the heavens. Shen Luo narrowed his eyes. His tone suddenly became piercingly cold. The killing intent contained within it caused the galaxy to churn violently. Xiao Yan obediently shut his mouth when he saw this. Ever since the moon heavenly pen appeared, there had been no movement from it. Only the heavens knew what this fellow was doing right now. It was best not to anger Shen Luo. The starry river swept across like a flowing stream of light in the starry sky. After the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, the sea of clouds in front of them suddenly dissipated. Everyone seemed to have entered another spatial zone. The sky was filled with starlight. Between the heaven and earth, it was as if there was a huge brush that supported the heaven and earth. I, Shen Luo, pay my respects to Master. As soon as he stepped into this spatial zone, the arrogance on Shen Luo's body instantly disappeared. He faced the wolf hair brush in front of him and said respectfully, "Let them all come in." In this spatial zone, a voice that sounded like the voice of an empty valley suddenly reverberated in the air, not dissipating for a long time. Hearing this, Shen Luo looked at Xiao Yan and the other two. "This is the sacred spatial zone of Lord Moon Heavenly Pen. If you all go there, Lord will naturally summon you all." The three of them did not dare hesitate. After nodding their heads, they slowly walked forward under Shen Luo's instructions. In this space, every step seemed to consume a great deal of physical strength. The origin chi was lost crazily. Before they even took 10 steps, Xiao Yan's forehead was already covered in sweat, as if he had experienced a great battle and was extremely exhausted. The other two were also having difficulties moving, and were breathing rapidly. The three of them looked at each other, not knowing what to do. Shen Luo stood 10 steps away from the three of them, as if he was thousands of miles away from them, ignoring their situation. One more step forward. Just as Xiao Yan was feeling dizzy, the star sky tablet's voice suddenly sounded. It caused the former's spirit to be refreshed, and he exerted all his strength. He took a step forward fiercely, and the moment his foot landed on the ground, Xiao Yan's figure suddenly disappeared from this spatial zone. The other two men, they ignored Xiao Yan's disappearance, as if they had just taken a step forward. The three of them were now in different spatial zones. "Old friend, you're here." Before Xiao Yan could recover from his shock, a voice suddenly rang out. It was a voice filled with emotion and relief. "Tu whoosh." The star sky tablet surfaced on Xiao Yan's body and transformed into the appearance of an old man. He looked at the old lady in the distance and sighed. He was silent for a long time before he softly said, "That's right. It has been a long time since we last met." Xiao Yan stood beside the star sky tablet. He glanced at the latter before looking at the old lady in the distance, who appeared to be an illusionary figure. A thought passed through his heart. Could these two be husband and wife? Senior brother has great luck. After 1,000,000 years, he has come here again. This is the blessing of the star field. The old woman grinned. Her tone changed, and she called the star sky tablet senior brother. This caused Xiao Yan to be stunned. The thought of the two of them being husband and wife suddenly collapsed in his mind. What kind of good fortune is that? I really hope that the fragment will be restored to its original form forever. This means that the Soul Demon's plot is not small. Perhaps it will be a war that will not be inferior to 1,000,000 years ago. The star sky tablet smiled bitterly and shook his head. Nether Imperial Consort has awoken, and Nether Domain will also make a big move. The 9 awakened disciples are all in Battle Domain, so they must have their own plans. Senior brother, what do you think? The Moon Heavenly Pen sighed. Even they couldn't see the current situation clearly. After the battle 1,000,000 years ago, the Soul Demons suffered heavy casualties. The resurrection of the 9 disciples doesn't mean that the ordinary Soul Demon can be reborn. They urgently need the strength to live. As the battlefield of the great world, the battle domain has something that can satisfy the 9 disciples. The star sky tablet's expression hardened as he slowly spoke. He had thought about many things over the past few days and had finally obtained some ideas. Xiao Yan was left alone by the side. It seemed that no one had noticed his existence. Even so, Xiao Yan was also very happy and relaxed. He was also quite interested in being able to listen to such a secret story from a close distance. Corpses. Endless corpses. After being reminded by the star sky tablet, the moon heavenly pen nodded slightly and came to a sudden realization. The battle domain did not lack the corpses of powerful warriors. If the 9 disciples could obtain the corpses and yin qi of these dead warriors and use a secret technique, they would be able to form a terrifying army in an instant. How do we resolve this situation? After a moment of silence, the moon heavenly pen said in a deep voice. They were sacred objects that were born from the heaven and earth. The karmic luck that they knew was far from what a supreme saint could compare with. Even so, she was unable to see through the current situation. The future seemed to be shrouded in layers of fog, and everything was illusory. There's no solution to this situation. After a long while, the star sky tablet finally spoke in a deep voice. Unsolvable. Why? Upon hearing this, the moon heavenly pen was startled. It was somewhat stunned. The war 1,000,000 years ago. Although it was threatening, with the luck of the holy object. For example, the joint forces of the 9 disciples and the nether domain. All the lords died to suppress the 9 disciples, and even old man Xing Luo's final resistance. They could see some clues, which led to the defeat of the 9 disciples. However, this time, according to the meaning of the star sky tablet, he could not see even half a mystery. The fate has been concealed by too much. The war this time around is no longer ordinary. I guess that some people from the outer world might intervene. The star sky tablet's expression was grim as he said in a deep voice. What does the calamity of a great world have to do with them? Hearing this, the moon heavenly pen's willowy eyebrows stood up as she couldn't help but speak in a low voice. In terms of divination and evolution, she couldn't compare to the star sky tablet. However, in countless eras, whether it was the soul demon or the other tribulations, they were all matters of a great world. The outer world had never interfered before, so why would they attack this time for no reason? The star sky tablet didn't say anything. Its gaze swept across Xiao Yan, and it let out a long sigh. I don't know, maybe. He shook his head and didn't say anything else. Senior brother, what else do you have to hide from me? Seeing the star sky tablet's hesitant look, the moon heavenly pen forced a smile and said, I'm not trying to hide anything. It's just that, although it's just a guess, this matter is too important. I'm afraid that even with our luck as sacred items, we won't be able to resist it. The star sky tablet lowered its head and spoke in a bitter tone. The punishment doesn't include the sacred object. Besides, although the great world is called a small world, it's still unshakable. If they want to make a move, they'll have to think twice before doing so. Whatever you think of, just say it. Upon hearing this, the moon heavenly pen sneered and said in a deep voice. All right. The star sky tablet nodded slightly as if it was deep in thought. However, Xiao Yan could always feel that the former's gaze was constantly sweeping over him, whether intentionally or not. Maybe it's because of the changes in the heaven and earth that those fellows might have noticed something. That's why they want to obtain the luck to survive this disaster. Buzz. Before he could finish speaking, the spatial zone suddenly shook, as if it had suffered an unknown attack. The moon heavenly pen's expression changed slightly, and just as it was about to speak, the spatial zone regained its stability. Seeing this, the star sky tablet could only sigh and no longer say anything. Forget it, let's talk about something else. Pointing at Xiao Yan, the star sky tablet forced a smile. This little guy came here to meet you. Fortunately, pill competition has obtained the first name. Take a look, you should be rewarded with something. Seeing that the star sky tablet had mentioned him, Xiao Yan's spirits were lifted. He looked at the moon heavenly pen and felt a wave of nervousness in his heart. The soul demon is in chaos again. This kind of young talent is going to be the main force to fight against the 9th disciple. The moon heavenly pen laughed lightly. Currently, the only one who has the ability to do so is Sang Yu. However, whether or not Jiyu Chongtian can make Sang Yu work for the starfield, no one can say for sure. I heard that Jiyu Chongtian was indeed reckless in this matter. In order to train Sang Yu, he secretly attacked and even secretly asked the Yin Emperor of Battle Domain to save him, giving Sang Yu the motivation to cultivate. The star sky tablet nodded and said, It can't be helped. Jiyu Chongtian is just doing this. He also discussed it with me. When Sang Yu returned to the starfield, his name shook the world. With his arrogant personality, when he returned to the Sang clan, he would be praised by his clansmen, and it was very likely that he would look down on all the people in the world. He had caused a lot of trouble, and it would be fine if he didn't cause any trouble. If he caused a disturbance, it would definitely be a huge event that would shake all the regions. Gu Chongtian has come up with such a plan. Ask Emperor Yin to bring Sang Yu back to Battle Domain and train him for a few more years. The Moon Heavenly Pen pondered for a moment before speaking slowly. Before the 9 disciples caused trouble, Sang Yu, a Heaven's Chosen, had appeared. It's definitely a great thing for the starfield, and the most important thing is to make good use of him. The tyrannical Heavenly King physique should be continuously refined during the life and death battle. Although the battle domain is compatible with this point, given Sang Yu's character, I'm afraid that he won't be bound by the same domain. No matter how strong Emperor Yin is, there will be a day when he won't be able to subdue Sang Yu. In my opinion, it's not far from the day Sang Yu leaves the battle domain. Starsky Tablet narrowed his eyes and said in a soft voice, "It doesn't matter. After stepping into the Heavenly Sovereign, with the heaven-defying strength of the tyrannical Heavenly King physique, he will have the ability to run amok in the great world. Unless a great protector takes action, there really isn't anything that can keep him in check." Upon hearing this, the Moon Heavenly Pen chuckled. Then, it turned its gaze to Xiaoyan and said slowly, "Sang Yu has already broken through to the Heavenly Sovereign. This little guy must also become a Heavenly Sovereign as soon as possible. This way, the 5 monarch flame in his body will be able to display its true power." The movements of the 9 disciples and the nether domain aren't small either. Each domain must start taking action as well. Quote, 0 As the Moon Heavenly Pen shifted its gaze away, Xiaoyan finally recovered from his shock. The Star Sky Tablet had always been with him, but he had never imagined that it would know so many things. There were many things that he had heard about, but they were far from being as thorough as the Star Sky Tablet. The situation was completely different. There were indeed a lot of things that he had a different view of. Let me tell you something about this little guy. The Star Sky Tablet thought for a moment, then explained in detail about Xiaoyan's burning spell turning into a purple fragment. It has something to do with the monarch flame. It definitely won't be simple. It might be something from the outer world. After listening to the introduction of the Star Sky Tablet, the Moon Heavenly Pen nodded in agreement. The shock that it displayed was not the slightest bit inferior to the Star Sky Tablet from back then. You haven't fully absorbed the power of the Quietus Monarch burning flame yet. You don't have to worry about anything here. You just need to step into the Heavenly Sovereign as soon as possible. Heart flame burning. If there is any danger, we will attack. After a long period of silence, the Star Sky Tablet's expression turned serious, and he said word by word. All right. With the guarantee of the Star Sky Tablet, Xiaoyan naturally wished for nothing more than this. If he could fully absorb the Quietus Monarch burning flame, it shouldn't be difficult for him to break through to the Heavenly Sovereign. As for the heart flame burning, since the former had already been stated, there wouldn't be too much of a problem. I'll have to trouble the 2 seniors. Xiaoyan slightly cupped his fist toward the 2 of them. After that, he sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes. Then, he fully immersed himself into the space of consciousness. Not long after that, he had entered into a state of selflessness. What is the reason behind the heart flame burning of the fighting monarch of Lower Realm? I remember that 1,000,000 years ago, Shao Tianqing of the Shao family experienced the heart flame burning, especially the time when he stepped into the Saint Realm. Even the Star Moon had no way to deal with it. If it wasn't for Shao Tianqing's great luck, I'm afraid he would have already turned into ashes. Moon Heavenly Pen asked curiously. She had seen some fighting monarch that had broken through to the Saint Realm, and they were extremely talented. Compared to the natives of the Great World, no matter how one looked at it, they were extremely outstanding. However, almost all of them had fallen on the path of the heart flame burning. Up until now, the only fighting monarch of Lower Realm she knew about was Shao Tianqing. He was the only one who had stepped into the Saint Realm. With his powerful combat strength, he had brought a trace of vitality to the star domain. The fighting monarch of Lower Realm is a heaven-defying existence in the great world. Their thoughts, mentality, perseverance, and all sorts of other things. It's not something that the natives of the great world can compare with. If it wasn't for the heart flame burning, the fighting monarch of Lower Realm would have occupied the great world a long time ago. The Star Sky Tablet frowned and continued, the fighting monarch of Lower Realm focuses on Do Chi. Although all the Do Chi in the body of the great world has been transformed into Origin Monarch Chis. This trace of Do Chi is fused with the Origin Chi. It will completely explode when one steps into a new level. This is also a kind of equilibrium. In the end, it is also to restrict the fighting monarch of Lower Realm. No wonder. Hearing this, the Moon Heavenly Pen nodded as if it had understood something. After a moment of silence, it looked at the Star Sky Tablet and said, "Next, you plan to. The heavens must elect a domain lord. The movements of the 9 disciples are getting bigger and bigger. The other few regions are also prepared. We can't just sit and wait for death." The Star Sky Tablet's eyes focused and said without hesitation, "Yang Che and Gu Chongtian both have the ability to do so, but if the two of them fight, it will be a battle between the protectors. Neither of us can interfere. If the 2 tigers fight, one of them will be injured, and it might even endanger the heavens. What should we do now?" Upon hearing this, the Moon Heavenly Pen sighed. How could she not know this? However, all the protectors had ulterior motives, especially Yang Che and Gu Chongtian. They were completely at odds with each other, and it was impossible for them to settle this peacefully. Let's wait until this matter is settled, then we'll see what happens. Star Sky Tablet pursed his lips. He only spoke slowly after a long time. Do you want to stay? If you can stay, that would be great. The Moon Heavenly Pen smiled in understanding when she heard this. She was also aware of the matter of the Star Sky Tablet in the Heavenly Medicine sect. After his strength had soared, he would at least no longer be threatened by the protectors. Nodding its head, the Star Sky Tablet silently looked at Xiao Yan. After that, it closed its eyes and didn't say a word. The corner of the Moon Heavenly Pen's mouth curled into a smile. Its gaze was completely focused on Xiao Yan. This fellow that even her senior brothers thought highly of, could he really have the ability to match up to Sang Yu? In the space of his consciousness, in front of Xiao Yan, the energy of the Quietus Monarch burning flame was continuously pouring into his body from the vast ancient book. Xiao Yan's expression was solemn. When he saw the 5 monarch flames on the ancient book, he couldn't help but feel restless. To him, the monarch flame represented the rise of his strength. After the burning spell was transformed into a purple fragment, it would be more convenient to obtain power from this ancient book. This had also given him an unprecedented desire for the monarch flame. There were still 2 more monarch flames in this pill gathering. Would he be able to find an opportunity to take them all? The Star Sky Tablet had once said that if one wanted to rely on the purple fragment, the chances of the monarch flame's backlash would be extremely low. It could only be achieved under certain conditions. For example, Ji Wuchuan. The latter had sacrificed an eyeball to forcefully seal the Quietus Monarch burning flame. To the purple fragment, under such circumstances, it could cause the monarch flame's backlash. The monarch flame of the 2 old men had clearly been completely refined. However, the purple-colored fragment was no longer useful. Instead, he could attack. If he had stepped into the Heavenly Sovereign, Xiao Yan would not be inferior to the 2 of them. The thought only appeared in his mind for a moment before it was wiped away. Xiao Yan calmed his heart. He no longer thought about the 2 monarch flames. He could clearly sense it. Sang Yu had Sang Yu's protection for Yang Che's killing intent towards him. He had no choice but to flee to Battle Domain, even though he had broken through to the Heavenly Sovereign. How could he save his life? The most important thing at the moment was to save his life. As for the Star Sky Tablet, he did not expect much from it. More and more disciples had been reborn. After meeting with the Moon Heavenly Pen, it was very likely that this fellow would stay in the heavens to deal with the disaster that could erupt at any time. Whether he could escape or not depended on himself. In the space of consciousness, countless days had passed. It felt like a day, but also like a few months. When the last strand of energy entered his body, Xiao Yan suddenly felt a thunderous sound bursting out from his body. Crack! The space of consciousness in front of him was instantly torn apart, and what replaced it was an endless land of flames. The flames were 5-colored, and it was the color of the monarch flame he possessed. Heart flame burning, Xiao Yan stood on top of the flames. All emotions returned to normal. His sharp eyes penetrated through the space and locked onto a red figure in the distance. Dong! Dong! The red figure stepped forward. The space was trembling. Xiao Yan raised his eyes and saw a figure that looked exactly like him walk out from the flame. His eyes were filled with an extremely sharp killing intent. The Xiao Yan that appeared seemed to be made of flames. As he raised his hand and stomped his foot, the space around him hissed, displaying his unparalleled strength. The flames below him were submitting to him, as if he was the supreme being of fire, looking down on all of eternity. Xiao Yan, who had already completely destroyed the heart flame burning, didn't hesitate at all. He stepped into the sky and unleashed the flowing power spell. In an instant, he appeared behind Xiao Yan. His 5 fingers were bent, and the yin and yang origin qi was condensed in his palm. It seemed as if it could tear the heaven and earth apart as it fell down. When an emperor cultivation stepped into the monarch cultivation, the spirit of heart flame was mainly formed by the yin and yang fusion origin qi. But now, a monarch cultivation spirit of heart flame had stepped into the heavenly sovereign. Obviously, the monarch flame was the main ingredient. After breaking through to the monarch cultivation, this also made Xiao Yan more and more familiar with the usage of the yin-yang fusion origin qi. If he could really break through to the heavenly sovereign, this also meant that his control over the monarch flame. Hong long, one clang, the flames clashed with the origin qi, and the sound was like thunder. It caused the space to tremble, and the raging flames to roar. The yin-yang origin qi, which had never failed before, actually didn't have the slightest effect. Xiao Yan's expression was solemn and his heart was as calm as water. He dodged the instant the flames surged over. He had already expected the strength of the spirit of heart flame. Ordinary attacks would not have the slightest effect. The heart flame burning was an intrinsic battle with someone who had a deeper understanding of it. Moreover, the latter possessed an endless amount of origin qis. It was extremely difficult to defeat it head-on. Before he arrived at the heavens, Xiao Yan still wanted to head to the Xiao clan after the pill competition ended. After obtaining Xiao Tiankeng's understanding of the heart flame burning, he would make full preparations and step into the heavenly sovereign in one go. Now that he had obtained the guarantee of the Star Sky Tablet, although this fellow was extremely conceited. However, there was still a steady moon heavenly pen beside him. With the ability of the sacred object, it could help him pass the heart flame burning. It shouldn't be a problem. Theoretically speaking, the heart flame burning could only be borne by him alone, but outsiders could also indirectly help him pass the heart flame burning. Just like Jade Fairy, she had helped him pass the heart flame burning at a critical moment. In the past, when old ancestor Xiao Tianqing came to the great world with the body of the fighting monarch, he had received the protection of the entire Xiao clan. When he went through the heart flame burning, Xiao Yan might have believed that he didn't receive any help from the Xiao clan, but now, he had a deep suspicion. Hong! Between the golden sea of flames, thousands of thunderbolts roared, mixed with dense white flames, and smashed down like a monstrous wave. Wherever it passed, the space would shatter. Xiao Yan stood on top of the sea of flames, looking disdainfully at the surroundings. It seemed like the entire world of flames had submitted to him. Holding the blue flame ruler in his hand, Xiao Yan soared into the sky. He was like a warrior who was fighting with the wind and waves. The flames blotted out the sky and covered the earth. Heat waves swept across, turning into numerous flood dragons that tightly entangled the former. Clang! The yin-yang origin qi in his body had almost materialized, and it covered the blue flame ruler. Every time it fell down, a fiery flood dragon would be destroyed. The other Xiao Yan stood in the void with an emotionless face, and allowed Xiao Yan to use all of his strength to slaughter everything like a war god. Swoosh! The spirit of heart flame transformed Xiao Yan raised his right arm slightly, causing the entire world to shake. As he spread his 5 fingers, a rain of fire fell from the sky. The rain of fire flew into the air and turned into fist-sized fire ravens. They moved like lightning, and as they moved, they turned into a strange formation that wrapped around Xiao Yan. A deafening sound of fire suddenly rang out. Xiao Yan was caught off guard and felt a pain in his head. Blood had already flowed out of his ears and the origin qi in his body had become chaotic. The 5 monarch flames in his body were laid out in front of him. The Xiao Yis that he hadn't used for a long time appeared from within the monarch flames. Xiao Yan suddenly bit the tip of his tongue to clear his mind. He needed to focus all of his attention on dealing with the fire dragons around him. As for the countless fire crows, he could only leave them to the Xiaoyis to deal with. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. As Xiaoyan swallowed more and more monarch flames, the intelligence of the Xiaoyis also rose in a straight line. It instantly reacted to the danger in front of it. With a wave of its small hand, tens of thousands of fire needles surged out from the 5 monarch flames. Like a rainstorm of pear blossoms, they shot towards the surrounding fire crows. In an instant, thousands of fire crows turned into flames and scattered. In the sky, the spirit of heart flame suddenly let out a cold laugh. Its hand swept across the void and a fire ruler that was similar to the blue flame ruler appeared in its hand. In the next moment, as the flame surged, the spirit of heart flame had already disappeared. When it appeared again, the long flame ruler had already swept past. It shook the sky and cracked the earth as it tore everything apart and smashed towards Xiaoyan's waist. Buzz! Xiaoyan's right arm suddenly moved, and the blue flame ruler happened to appear on the path of the long flame ruler. The two of them collided, and the terrifying force caused the space between Xiaoyan's thumb and forefinger to split open. The blue flame ruler was unable to hold firmly, and his entire body was sent flying backwards. In terms of strength, Xiaoyan was no match for the spirit of heart flame. Little me, defeat the big me, and find the real me. As his strength grew stronger and stronger, these words were no longer applicable to him. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so few fighting monarch of lower realm that could break through to the heavenly sovereign and above. With Xiaoyan's current experience, he only knew that Xiao Tianqing was the only one who had reached the level that everyone could only dream of. As for the rest of them, even the number of heavenly sovereigns that could reach the heavenly sovereign was extremely small. The heart flame burning that could help a monarch cultivation break through to the heavenly sovereign was an insurmountable chasm. In the world of flames, the intense battle between the two men was getting more and more intense. This so-called intense battle was naturally the beginning of Xiaoyan's serious injuries. Even though it was only his consciousness, endless pain still spread throughout his body. Every nerve in his body was trembling because of the intense pain. I still underestimated the heart flame burning of a monarch cultivation who has broken through to the heavenly sovereign. He alone won't be able to withstand it. Seeing Xiaoyan's twisted face due to the pain, the Star Sky tablet raised its brows and looked at Yu Tianwen. I will need to trouble you to help me. Just like what you said, defending against the heart flame burning is heaven-defying. When Xiao Tianqing stepped into the heavenly sovereign, he received the help of the entire Xiao clan. He even used the earth-shattering formation to suppress the terrifying energy in his body. How is it possible for him to fight it alone? The moon heavenly pen smiled faintly and came in front of Xiaoyan. It stretched out a finger and gently touched the center of Xiaoyan's brows. Sparks flashed, and Xiaoyan's twisted expression became much more normal. With you here, what kind of accident can happen? The name of the sacred object is not just for show. Hearing this, the Star Sky tablet smiled indifferently and said meaningfully, "If I don't have a choice. In this world, there is no one who can protect his life anymore." The moon heavenly pen smiled and retracted its finger. As its fingers moved, endless starlight surged out from its sleeve, and it seemed to transform into a curtain of stars that covered the sky. The curtain of stars fell, and layers of layers appeared around Xiaoyan's body. Every ray of starlight extended out a trace of brilliant starlights, and formed a grand formation of stars that surrounded Xiaoyan in the middle. Moon Spirit Light, Pen Shuming Dao. Outside the star formation, the moon heavenly pen's expression gradually became solemn. In a trance, a huge wolf hair brush and ink brush appeared behind its back. Accompanied by the endless starlight, the wolf hair ink brush soared into the sky. He tapped lightly on Xiaoyan's head. In an instant, the stars whistled through the sky and poured into Xiaoyan's head. On Xiaoyan's forehead, bright starlights were surging. It kept rushing into his body, the law of God that contained pure energy. While strengthening his body, it also provided energy for Xiaoyan to resist the spirit of heart flame. Sang Yu is born with the combat power secret art. With the help of the tyrannical heavenly king body, the origin chi in his body will naturally give birth to the heavenly law after he breaks through to the heavenly sovereign. When he reaches the saint realm, the law of God will also be born. Compared to him, any genius from the same generation will be a step behind him in this aspect. The brush on his back dissipated, and the moon heavenly pen slowly retracted its hand. Do you think he will become the next Yin-Yang Saint Lord? The Star Sky Tablet stood with his hands behind his back, and his eyes shone with a bright light. When the Moon Heavenly Pen helped Xiao Yan just now, he had also instilled the law of God into the latter's body. Once he stepped into the Heavenly Sovereign, the benefits he would bring Xiao Yan would be hard to describe. What kind of figure is Sacred Lord Yin-Yang? He has shocked an era of the great world. Since the ancient times until now, how many people have been his match? However, I feel that Sang Yu might surpass him. The Moon Heavenly Pen changed the topic and said in a soft voice. The Star Sky Tablet remained silent and looked at Xiao Yan, whose expression had returned to normal. After a long while, the corner of its mouth curled up slightly.